my cutout figure, and I'm ready to start to design some clothing for this figure. So my first step is to place the figure on a page of my sketchbook, and I don't draw on the back sides because I want the figure, because when we start to do detail work and micron pen and color pencil, I don't want to have a drawing on the back that's going to interfere with the look of the one on the front. So just use one side of each of the sheets of your paper. You've got plenty of pages in your sketchbook. So I'm going to use our lighter of the two pencils that you have in your pouch, and I'm just going to trace around the figure, and I'm going to press a little bit harder so that you can see it on the camera, but I would recommend that you keep your lines pretty light because you'll need to erase as you go through your figure, and the lighter the lines are, the less pressure you have to use with your eraser to remove it. And you'll want to obviously create clothing for your figure, and you'll want to make sure that you can erase to allow for some of the clothing shapes that you'll need to create. So almost done tracing around the edge. So now I have my figure form, and now I can start to think about what kind of clothes that I might want to put on my figure. And I've been kind of inspired by like the moto jackets and things lately, and I love those paired with like Doc Marten boots and like a skirt. So I think that's just a really cute look. So I'm gonna create that kind of a look for this figure. And so I'm going to start with the skirt, and I want some movement to the skirt. So I'm going to come off this hip line since she's got her hip kind of out, so that's going to look like it's kind of flipping in that direction. So this is where the waist of the figure is, obviously. So I'm going to bring the fabric out this way. Now across the bottom here, if I want this skirt to kind of have some movement to it, I just created a kind of a line around the base there to create some movement. And now I'm going to, before I get any further with detail, I'm going to erase out the parts of the leg that won't show because this is not a see-through skirt, obviously. It's going to be fabric. So I'm going to erase out the sections that I don't need there. And now I'll be able to create the waistband for the skirt. And then on each of these sections of the fabric movement, I can kind of take those up toward the waistband of the skirt. So it starts to create a little bit of movement in the skirt line, and I'm going to create the inside of the skirt there. And you might see a little bit of the inside of the skirt there. I can kind of create that more pointed. So let me erase that part of the leg out. All right, so now I've got a skirt in place. That's looking pretty cute, and now I think I'm going to design the jacket. Now a jacket's going to be bigger than the body form because it's going to be a little bit boxier. So the moto jackets, they kind of have that wide lapel, and it usually cuts in a way, and then has the zipper down the edge here. And I'll make the shoulder kind of come out bulky away from the skin line of the body. I'll put the cuff on. And when it comes to like a cuff, I want to make sure that I'm curving it because it's going around a round form here. So make sure that I curve it, and I'll put a couple big buttons on there. And I want the cuff wider than the jacket. So I might extend this over this way too. The armpit obviously is going to be a little bigger. I have a few wrinkles at the elbow. And then this will come down and cut around to the body. Now I'm going to erase the body line inside there. And depending on how light you drew your tracing, you can hide that pretty easily. Mine's a little on the dark side, so it's going to be a little trickier to hide, so I need to erase it out. Okay, so now I've got the start of a jacket here. I might even draw the seam in so they can see where the edge of the seam of the jacket is in the armpit, where the armpit set. I'm going to go ahead and put like the teeth of a zipper along that edge. Maybe there's even a buckle here, because this would be designed for motorcycle wear, so it might have like a strap that hangs off where it would connect to the other side of the lapel. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other side of the jacket on. Obviously this needs to have a part that goes around the back too. I'll fix that when I get there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the other side of the jacket and the big collar on this side, kind of emulate my curve over here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and erase out the body lines on this side too, so that I have an idea of the edges of the jacket not interfering with each other. Okay, so I'm going to keep that. Okay, that's coming along. All right, so I'm going to put like a button over here, so if that needed to close, this could have like buttonholes and it would maybe connect to that in some way. And I'm going to go ahead and create the wrinkles for this side. Of course, I need a cuff over here, and again, it's going around a rounded form, so I want to make sure that I'm rounding that shape. Now, would I see the buttons on this side? No, because they're on the other side of the cuff. All right, erase out the body form there. All right, so we're starting to get a bit of a look here. Okay, so we've got the skirt in place. We've got a kind of a moto jacket. What kind of a shirt is she wearing underneath? I guess just like a tee. So I'm going to create like just a rib neck tee. You want to make sure that you're adding some details to the clothing. Don't just make it super plain that anybody could have done that. You know, think like a designer. Come up with something that you think would be intriguing. What kind of clothes are you attracted to when you go to the store? It wouldn't be something that's completely plain that anybody could be wearing. You want to have something that's cool and unique and different. So, you know, make sure that you're thinking about what maybe you might be attracted to when you're looking at clothing. Obviously work on that hand some. And so now I've got a skirt, I've got a jacket, she's got a t-shirt. I think I'm gonna have her I'm gonna have the hand here in front. And I think I'm gonna have her like a shirt tail tee, and I'm gonna have it out. So I'm gonna erase away the skirt top and see how that looks. If I don't like it, I can always draw it back in and erase the shirt and maybe have it tucked in. See how that looks. Yeah, that's okay. I like that. All right, so now I'm going to give her, she's going to have some kind of leggings. It might even be like fishnets maybe. I can't decide what I want on her legs, but I definitely know I'm going to give her some big chunky kind of combat boots. So I know that boots are going to be bigger than her legs. So I'm going to give them kind of a wider look here. These are like a big chunky leather, like a Doc Martin kind of a boot. So I'm going to give it like what do they call it, like a tread on the bottom. And before I go any further, I'm going to erase her foot away. You don't have to necessarily do a face unless you want to. You don't have to. If you decide that you want to do a face, typically within the head space, like there's the top of the head, you can do like a light line down, and then half of this line, if you make a line through the middle, that's going to be where your eyes set on there. And about halfway between there and the chin line is just slightly above is where your nose will be set. And then 1/3 of the way up on here is where the lips come together. So you'd have a lip above and below. So I'm just going to kind of lightly sketch a face in place so that I've got, and of course she needs, a brow line. And so there I've got a light face in place. So from here, I would kind of refine it and do a little extra detailing. Kind of leaning toward making the skirt possibly plaid or a check. I haven't decided yet. I can decide what I want to do at the legs, if I want to do like a fishnet kind of a design or not, whatever I want to do there. But I want to kind of define and refine the shapes so that I get a good shape on the body and the clothing so that it looks, that she has the right look that I'm going for. So once I feel like I've got a look in place, then I'm ready to pause. I'm going to work on that hand some, just kind of refining. And once I get my drawing finished, then I'm going to show how to move forward with Micron. Just to kind of let you know, you need to do a front and a back view. So obviously I would need to do a back view of this outfit for my second drawing. So I've made some adjustments to my figure and to my design. I changed this hand up here to give her a bag, so she's carrying a Union Jack bag. And then this hand, I decided didn't like the way it was like flipped out, so I just decided to tuck it in a pocket, and she's got her thumb out. I've decided not to do anything on her legs because the next part of the video is going to be talking about how to use color pencil to create flesh tones, and I don't want to cover too much of her skin because then I wouldn't be able to demonstrate as much. So I'll be able to show quite a bit on her legs as to how to create flesh tones. So now I have my Micron pen out, and this has a permanent ink in it. So if you mark it on your skin or on your clothing, it is permanent. So on your skin, it's it'll come out eventually with just some soap and water, or maybe a little bit of rubbing alcohol will take it out, or even hand sanitizer may take it out since it's so much rubbing alcohol. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know if you mark it on your clothing or something, it is a permanent ink. But the nice thing about being permanent is once we get everything traced, we can very easily erase over it, and it's not going to remove the line or smear it. So I'm going to use this to begin to ink my model. And you can really start, obviously, at any part of the model that you want, but you want to make sure that you are following the pencil lines that are the correct ones. So if you've made some corrections, you've erased out, or you want to exaggerate something a little bit, you can certainly do that with this step of the process. So I'm going to make this buckle just a little bigger because I realized that I made it a little narrow. And of course, you want to make sure that you're drawing all the lines that you need in order to establish the shape of the garment.